Welcome back to another episode of You Grow Girl. And I'm your host, Stacey C. I hope that you all have enjoyed the last episode about K-pop and learning the Korean language. I hope that episode may have inspired you to learn more about the Korean pop music and possibly learning the Korean language as you're listening to that lovely music. Now, I want to get into talking about this new episode. So, before I start, earlier this year, I had an episode with my best friend where we talked about New Year's resolutions, vision boards, prayer boards, and words of the year. By the way, I hope you check that episode out if you have not listened to it yet. That was episode 2 of my podcast. And in that episode, my best friend and I talked about setting goals and setting for the year and for just your life in general. Well, I hope that you have had time because it's been 6 months since I've had that episode. And you should have had an opportunity to set some goals you wanted for your life and for this year. Now, when you have set these goals, I want to ask a question. How many times have you ever said in your life, one day I will do, or one day I will do that? Because I know I have. So in today's topic, I want to explore and talk about, will you continue to say one day or day one? Now, before I get into some things that you may say one day or you can start day one of, I want to talk about and share with you where I got this saying. I heard it from my therapist. We were having a session, and in my session with my therapist, we were discussing some goals that I had. And I think that I said, I was tired of saying, one day I'm going to do this and one day I'm going to do that to that very specific goal. So that's when she shared with me the concept that someone can constantly say, one day I will, or one day I want to do this, or you can start on day one. Now, when I heard that concept, one day versus day one, it opened my eyes. I had never heard this concept before. So I loved it so much, I put it in my notes. And then when I was thinking, what should I talk about for this topic for this month? That note came back to my mind, day one or one day. I also, and you probably have as well, have heard this concept on social media. During my research, I found that on TikTok in particular, that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who I love, by the way, talked about this concept on social media. He was asking his followers, will you continue to say one day that you want to do things to change your life and do your goals, or will you start on day one? Now, to give a little bit of background, this concept was originally coined by Paulo Coelho, and I hope that I'm pronouncing his name correctly. If I am, I apologize. He is an author. He actually wrote the book The Alchemist, and that's one of his famous quotes, one day or day one, you decide. Now, day one, let's talk about what day one looks like. Day one is when you find the motivation to get started, like lights your fire so that you begin to explore your goals. You begin to take on these goals. You begin to conquer these goals and you finish them. So whatever you set your mind to, you accomplish it. That's what you do in day one. One day, that actually is kind of like procrastination. So, or fear. It can be fear as well, because in that one day mindset, you constantly say, well, one day I am going to go on a trip. One day I am going to lose weight. One day I'm going to get my nails done and something that you always wanted to wear. Or one day I am going to decorate my home how I see on the magazines or on Instagram or something. But you don't ever achieve those goals. You either operate in the constant state of procrastination, like you will get to it, or you operate in fear. Now, I want to get into some goals and things that people may have said. You may have said it, because I know some of these things that I go over that I'm going to get into, I have said, one day I'm going to do this and one day I'm going to do that. And then I also want to talk about how you can get to day one as well. Now, one of the first things is going to the gym. So I know that is something from me that I have said, one day I'm going to go to the gym and one day I'm going to work out. And primarily that was, for me personally to lose some weight. But I don't want us always to think that going to the gym is primarily focused on just losing weight. Some people go to gain muscle. Maybe you have a much smaller stature of body and you want to put on some muscle, or maybe you want to be someone who trains their body to have muscle, and someone who may even want to be a bodybuilder to compete in different competitions, because you are so proud of your body and what you have worked towards. So some people don't always go to the gym primarily just to lose weight. Some people go to gain muscle. Now, how many times, ask yourself, how many times have you said, well, one day I'm going to go to the gym. One day I'm going to get that membership. One day I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to start working on this. Or even if you're in the gym, how many times have you looked at a certain machine and say, one day I'm going to get on that machine. One day I am going to run on the treadmill. One day I'm going to get on the stairs, because I know I have. So one of the things that you could do, or some of the things you can do to start your day one is, first of all, you can get equipment just for home. So if you want to start working out, you want to lose the weight, you want to and gain muscle, you can start working out at home. You can buy gym equipment from anywhere. So you can go to Walmart, you can go to Amazon. I know I've seen gym equipment, like small things, like small weights and mats, even in stores like Five Below. And those things are usually no more than $5. You also can actually go to the gym. There are gyms that have membership opportunities throughout the year. Sometimes they have them at certain times of the year. Maybe you can even go to the gym with a friend. I know for me, I have a membership, and my membership allows me to be able to bring a friend just so they can come and work out with me if they want it. You also can find groups where people exercise together. And, this is so funny that I'm talking about this, because I know I was on social media just a couple of days ago, and I found a group for Black women that work out, and they're called the Brown Girls Group, and they work out together and everything. And unfortunately, I'm probably not saying the name correctly. Unfortunately, they are not local to me. They are in Atlanta. So if you live in Atlanta and you're listening, it's actually called the Brown Girls Wellness Club. So they get together and they motivate each other. They work out together. I was so excited, y'all. I'm just going to tell y'all that. I'm going to tell you that, I was so excited to find this, because I was like, oh, it allowed me to be able to incorporate more workout into my regimen. And unfortunately, that group is nowhere near me in Delaware. So they are in Atlanta. But you also can find other communities. Maybe there are people in your church, for instance. Maybe you can even start a group at your church, or maybe, at your workplace. Maybe you and a group of people get together and you work out. So that could be your day one. The next thing is changing your diet. I know personally for me, changing my diet has been definitely challenging, because I am what one would consider a foodie. And I like certain types of food, especially a potato. So I love a potato, baked potato, French fries. It's just a potato. I love white potatoes in general. I just love them. So changing your diet. And with changing your diet, you can get more energy, you can feel healthier and things. And how many times have you said, I'm going to try to put more vegetables in my diet, or I'm going to eat more fruit, or one day I'm going to drink more water, because we should, because water, is good for us as a whole for our body. So how many times have you said that to yourself? Like, one day I'm going to get more water in my diet every day. I'm going to drink a gallon of water. Or one day I'm going to make sure I eat more fruits and vegetables, especially raw ones. How many times have you said that for yourself? So how you can start day one for that, you can start incorporating things, something simple such as a protein shake, for instance. You can, there are so many recipes out here that you can find a good protein shake recipe. You can try to incorporate fruits and vegetables into at least one meal. I know I've seen where people try to incorporate more vegetables into their diet. They may make like a spaghetti sauce or some type of pasta sauce. They'll throw in more vegetables just so they can get that extra serving of vegetables throughout, in their diet that day. Also, smoothies. There are smoothies out there. There are actually, where I know for Walmart, I can go into Walmart and I've seen them, and I'm sure you've seen them at your local grocery store as well, where they actually have bagged for you. So everything is pre-cut. The fruit is pre-cut. The vegetables that they have in it, like spinach or kale, is already pre-cut. And you just need to add like a juice or water, and you can make a smoothie for yourself to incorporate more fruits and vegetables. You also can get into recipe groups. There are tons of groups all on social media where you can find one for you. And I'm sure that there is a group, especially like on Facebook, because there's a lot of groups there. And Instagram, I see that there are different recipes and things, different creators that you can follow that do recipes, that do healthy recipes. There are people on TikTok. So you can try these new recipes, make it fun. You can even include your kids. That could be, or your family, your husband, your significant other. That can be your day one. The next thing, buying a house or a new car. I know that for me in particular, this is one thing that I've said. One day I'm going to get a new car, especially an SUV. I wanted an SUV. I did get it. That was my day one. But I kept saying, one day I'm going to get an SUV. One day I want a new car. One day I want a house. Those are things that a lot of people say that are goals for them. And one of the ways that you can start your day one is to start saving money towards your goal. Maybe your bank, I know my bank in particular, they have an account where it's a rainy day savings. So you can put money in there, but also when you use your debit card, they will round the money up that you use for your debit card, and it still comes out of your account, but it goes into that rainy day savings. So that helps to build your savings. So maybe you can research and find out if your banking institution offers something like that to start saving money towards your goal of buying a new car or to purchase a home. You can start working with a credit lender. There are plenty of credit lenders out there. There are different programs out there to be able to, like, for instance, purchase a home. So you can research that information. That is your day one. Also, you can shop around and do research on a car. I know for me, when I purchased my car, I shopped around and I didn't realize you could do that. So I would take a proposal, and I'm telling it. So if there are any car dealerships that listen to this episode, I'm sorry, but I'm telling it. So you can take a proposal that you get from a car dealership and you can take it to another one and see if they can beat that. If they really want your business, they will try to outdo the other car dealership. So you can shop around and do that. That is your day one. Okay. And sometimes you can get really great incentives as well from going to certain dealerships, or if you're in a certain career field and you can get incentives from certain types of vehicles. For instance, I know that some cars offer incentives if you are a first responder, for instance. So, or if you're in the military, because, most car dealerships and brands offer an incentive for people who are in the military. So do your research. That is your day one. The next thing, maybe you want to start a podcast. I know that is something that I definitely kept saying. One day I want to start a podcast. One day I want to do this. And also, maybe you want to be a creative. Maybe you want to go into this world of social media and you want to start creating things. And to be able to do that, your day one, research what equipment you need to start podcasting. What do you need? What would that look like for you? Where would you do the podcast? Where would you make your videos to be a creative? And what's going to be your niche? What is going to be, how are you going to sell you? How are you going to make people and draw people to wanting to listen to you? Also, research how to start making videos. I know for me, this has been definitely a learning experience, and that's something I had to do. I had to research which app to use to be able to push out my show and my podcast. And you have to do the research for you to, what works for your budget and what works for what's easiest for you, to what platforms you might want to use. Also, and that's also being a creative, like which apps are best for editing. So you want to do that research. That is your day one. And you can't let the fear stop you. Just do it. I watched this lady on TikTok, and she's like, just put the videos out. Just make them. Just record yourself and make them. Put them out. Someone's going to watch it. And that is so true. Another thing, starting a business. Maybe you have a skill set that you know is marketable and profitable, okay? Because we want it to be profitable, number one. And you want to start your own business. Maybe you do furniture repair and upholstery, and that's something that you've always just done on the side. Maybe you are a interior decorator. Maybe you have a great eye for things and you've always said, but one day I want to work for myself. One day I want to do this full time. Well, you should definitely research what you can do. Like, what is your skill set? How can you grow your business? How can you start your business? Start if you're in interior design, start doing it at your home. Take photos of it. Let people see how you do interior design, how you can turn a small room and make it look larger just from where you place the furniture or the paint that you use. That is your day one. Also, to understand how whatever your skill set is and how it can be profitable and marketable. So, going out there and seeing what people want, what people need. I know there is a young lady, and I know it's several, but it's a young lady that I follow on TikTok. And what she does is she takes furniture that people no longer want, and she'll take it back to her home. And she was doing this out of her garage, and she was refinishing it. So she would take it and she would sand things down. She was buying her own equipment, her own paint, and she was turning these things that people had discarded around to beautiful furniture pieces. And then she would resell it. And her business has grown to the point now that she had to have a pole building built on her property just so she could be able to bring more furniture in. And sometimes people contact her because they no longer want furniture and they are, just giving her the furniture, or she buys it from them so that she could refinish it and then sell it for something for more, than what she probably paid for it or got it for free. So again, she's just taking her skill set and she's making it profitable and marketable for her, So again, that's your day one. You just got to find what your skill set is, and you just have to go out there and do it. Changing careers. Maybe you want, because we're talking about businesses, maybe you want to change your career. Maybe you need to go back to college. Maybe that's something you have said. Maybe you have a college degree. Maybe you have a bachelor's degree, and you have said, one day I want to go get a master's degree. One day you may have a master's degree. One day I want to get my doctorate. So maybe college and school wasn't really for you and you wanted to focus primarily on a skill or on a trade. So maybe you always wanted to be an electrician because, everybody needs an electrician, or a HVAC person. I don't know about you, but in this summer heat, thank you, Jesus, for the HVAC people, because I want my air conditioner to be working in this hot summer heat. So maybe that is something that you always wanted to do. And you always said, one day I'm going to go to school and learn how to be an HVAC, person, and be able to work on people's heating and air conditioners and things. Maybe you already have a certain skill set, but you may need a certification. So you may need to go back to school or to trade school to get these things. And that is your day one, to start investing in you, start investing in your goals. So how you can do that, your day one, again, go to college, go back to college, go to trade school. Even if you have to go to college and take one class, one semester, two classes, 2 semesters, that's still your day one because you're starting it, because you're no longer saying one day, you're actually in day one. Maybe you need to go back and try to get a certification. It could be certification again in HVAC. It could be certification in project management. You may have a certain skill set that, is needed in another area. So again, that is your day one. Traveling. I know for me, I have said that day in and day out, one day I am going to go here. I know I have said specifically, one day I want to go to China because I do want to see the Great Wall. One day I want to go to Africa because I want to see the safari. I want to go on a safari, but mind you, I also want to go to Africa in the summer because it is like fall-like weather there instead of it being hot like it is here, because I don't like hot. I don't like the heat. But I have said that one day I want to do this. One day I want to do that. So how you can do that your day one, I know for me, the first thing I had to do, I had to go get a visa. So, in order to travel. So, you may have to go and get your visa. You may have to go and get your, information to be able to travel to different countries or whatever. And now here in America, in order to fly domestically, you got to have, that license now with the star on it, the real ID. So maybe you need to go to the DMV, unfortunately, to go and be able to fly to Hawaii, because maybe that is on your bucket list of places you want to go. Also, you may need to plan a trip with a trip advisor. You can book a cruise. Maybe that is something that you always said you wanted to do. Like, one day I want to go on a cruise. There are so many cruises out there. There are some that go to the Caribbean islands, some that go to Europe, some that go to Alaska. And there are different ways to be able to make it affordable for you. So if the one day, and you're constantly saying the one day, it could be finances, there is a way to pay for that. So you just have to put that day one in and make that first step. Also, maybe you can go to an all-inclusive resort. So you go to a resort and it has everything that you want to see and do. And even like going to Disney is an all-inclusive resort technically, or going to Universal, all inclusive. It doesn't have to be in Jamaica, but if that's what you choose to do, then that's your business. Definitely taking that first step to be in day one. A hobby. There are so many different things that people like to do, and hobbies are a great form of self-care. So maybe you've said you love to read, and you've said, one day I want to join a book club. One day I would like to read 30 books in 30 days. Also, starting a garden. Maybe you want to start a garden because you like a specific type of flower. Maybe you want to start a garden to grow different vegetables and fruit. So knitting or crocheting, that's also a hobby that a lot of people are getting into. Now, your day one for starting a garden, for instance, research what's needed. What do you need to start a garden? What kind of pots do you need? You need gloves. You need garden tools. Go to a local farmer's market. These local farmer market, they can offer a lot of advice because they have their own gardens themselves for you. They probably also may sell the seeds that you may need to start your garden. You also can go to the home improvement stores to get these products that you may need as well. Some of them, offer really good prices for the things that you need. So that's your day one. Playing an instrument. I forgot to mention that as well. Playing an instrument. Maybe you want to go back to playing an instrument. Maybe you played an instrument when you was a kid or when you was a teenager and you got away from it. And, again, this is self-care. So go back to playing this instrument, or, go to your local music store and see if they offer classes. If you live in a city, I'm sure there are people that offer various classes for playing musical instruments. The knitting and crocheting. I know a lot of people are getting back into knitting and crocheting, especially like crocheting clothing for themselves. I know there are knitting clubs. There is actually, for crocheting, easy beginner friendly crochet kits out there. As a matter of fact, I would like one. I crocheted a little bit as a kid, but I am going to get one. It is only for like BTS, but it's an easy beginner friendly crochet kit. And there are so many out there. So that is your day one to get into crocheting. Maybe you've never crocheted before. Maybe you've never even picked up a crochet needle and you don't know the first thing about it. Again, these easy beginner kits, they explain everything. They walk you through it. I'm sure that there are groups out there for people who knit and crochet. I know there are groups out there, on social media if you want to, for people who have gardens and they can give you tips. So again, day one, self-care. Self-care. And when I say self-care, I'm talking about specifically for these mothers out there, these mothers and these wives. As a mother and a wife, you wear two of those hats or one or the other. You sometimes don't make time for yourself. You always want to say, I wish I could have a break. One day I am going to, just go to the grocery store by myself. One day I am going to go on a trip without my whole entire family, and how you can do that. Day one, have these conversations with your loved ones, your significant other, so that you're able to get that self-care. Maybe you need everybody to leave the house and you just in the house. while it's clean. They cleaned it first before they left you in there, but they may have cleaned the house, to give you a break, and then they're leaving for the day. Maybe they go stay at grandma's house and your husband too. So you can be by yourself and just enjoy you. Maybe you can plan things for your day one. You can plan to go, out for breakfast for yourself. You can plan to meet your girlfriends for lunch. You can go to a movie. You can go and just, go walking, go exercise, whatever you choose to do, you can make that plan. And then you have to stick with that plan. Okay. That is your day one for your self-care. One of the last things that I also want to talk about for some goals and things that people have said, and there are plenty other topics that people have talked about one day that they would like to try, is trying new things. How many times have you said to yourself, I would like to do this. I would like to do that. And it could be something new that you've never tried before in your life, such as skiing. Maybe you want to try skiing. Maybe you've never been and you've seen people go on ski trips, and go snowboarding. Or maybe you've been skiing and you just never, went snowboarding, or you've never went tubing and that's something you want to try. You want to take a class. Maybe you said, one day I would like to take a cooking class or an art class. Maybe you have some talent with cooking. Maybe you know your way around the kitchen, or maybe you can draw or paint fairly well. But you've always said, one day I would like to take a class so you can, improve those skills. And how you can, make that your day one. If you want to go skiing, for instance, you want to go snowboarding, you want to go snow tubing, you want to go water jet skiing? I don't know. Something that you've never done before. Book that trip. That is your day one. Book that trip. Just do it. And go out there, get you a cute, ski outfit. I mean, if you're a man listening to this, I guess you're not trying to get a cute one, but one that makes you look really good in. But go get something, go get some nice boots and things. Go get the whole outfit so that you are ready to be your best self trying this new skill that you've constantly said, or this new thing that you constantly said that you wanted to try. That is your day one for that. Taking those classes for cooking and art. There may be some classes in your local community. I know here where I live, it's a local art league. They offer classes not only for kids, but adults. Take those classes. Join the art league. Join the cooking class. Join your community center. See if they have these cooking classes or these knitting classes or crocheting or playing an instrument, something you've never done, or singing. Maybe that's something that you have never done, but just take that first step so that you are in your day. Now, for me personally, since, some things that I have said that I one day wanted to, since I talked about earlier in this episode about the last month's episode about learning the Korean language, that was something or a goal that I wanted to do. And I kept saying, one day I'm going to learn the Korean language. And I wanted to learn not only because I love BTS, but because I watched a lot of Korean dramas, and I really wanted to watch these dramas without reading the subtitles, because I do like to listen to the dramas in the actors' native voices, but I wanted to be able to listen to it and be able to understand what they're saying without having subtitles, because a lot of people that I know that have learned Korean and have taken classes or self-taught, they said it is such a different feeling to be able to, watch Korean dramas or listen to your favorite K-pop band and not need subtitles. Like they said it's like the best feeling in the world. And I'm sure it probably makes them feel like they accomplished something. So that was my one day. And one of the excuses that I had for that was that I didn't have the money financially. And then I was afraid to mess up speaking the language. I thought that, I had to learn it and be able to speak it perfectly. So just one day I decided I'm no longer going to continue to say one day, one day, one day. I'm going to take a class. So I was like, the next time I see anybody out here that offers a class to teach Korean, I am going to take it. So I prayed about it, and I decided also, just trusting God, that what can go wrong? So my one day turned into day one. So when I found Megan, who was on last month's show, and she offered the Korean class, online. And the best part, like I said in the last episode, the course was free. So it didn't cost me a dime. So that also shows you prayer works too. I was like, this had to be made for me. This was made for me. So I was able to take the class and I was able to, do something that I had on my quote unquote 1 day list. And it made me feel like I accomplished something. Now, the next couple of things that I have on my 1 day list is that I would like to travel. So again, I had to get my passport. I said visa earlier. I meant to say passport. So I had to get my passport and I now can travel. I can travel internationally. So that was the first step. I was like, I need to get the passport so I can travel internationally. So now I am looking into booking a trip because I do want to go to Korea, and I am still continuing to learn the language. But I would also like to visit Japan because that was on my 1 day I want to go to list of places I wanted to go to. So that is something else that I am planning to do. I am taking that first step to be able to travel to Korea and Japan. And I am going to go other places. I'm not going to say I want because that's part of I think the language of saying 1 day. I am going to go other places. I am going to stamp my passport. Another thing that was a personal thing for me, it was saying 1 day I wanted to wear my nails. So for the last few years, I've been getting my nails done. And a way for me to be expressive in my love for art is I put it on my nails. And I used to see so many people on social media that had nail art. And I was like, I want my nails to look like that. I really want to express myself and show the abstract art that I like and enjoy looking at. And I just decided 1 day, my local nail shop that I love them to get to death. By the way, they're like my I call them my Vietnamese cousins because I've known them a long, 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 long time, and very kind people. I can't give the name because they would be upset if people started contacting them because they're not accepting any new clients. But love them to death, and they have allowed me to be able to express myself with art on my nails, and I love that. That was my day one, and I loved getting my nails done. And that was something that, I had taken from 1 day and turned it into day one. Now, I talked about a lot of different goals and things that people say 1 day they would like to do. And I also talked about how you can get started on day one. But a few other things that you can get started for day one that I want to talk about is journaling. Maybe you need to journal. It helps you get your ideas down and it helps you to be able to have a place where you can have your research. Maybe you might need to get a planner. I know a planner helps keep people on track. It helps you to be accountable so that you can maybe possibly have a goal date. Maybe you want to go to the gym and you're working towards weight loss and you have a goal date for a certain amount of weight that you would like to lose and also with your diet. You also want to set clear, attainable goals. And these are called SMART goals. You want these goals to be specific. You want them to be measurable, achievable, relevant, and time conscious. Those are SMART goals. You also want to develop a routine. So a planner can help you with that. And a routine would just help you so that it becomes a habit. I know for me, one of the things that I have built into my routine, AKA a habit, is going to the gym. And I know they say it takes 1 days, I believe, for things to become a habit for you. You want to start to develop this routine. You can also seek inspiration. You can get it from social media. You can read success stories. You can join communities that, focus like on certain things that you want to attain, certain goals, such as fitness. You can go to social media groups. So there are various different ways that you can get started for day one. Now, some benefits of taking your 1 day to day one is it improves your health physically and mentally. So instead of if you, for instance, if you're going to the gym and you're working towards changing your diet to gain muscle or to lose weight, it can make you feel good after you went to the gym. Because I don't know about you, but after I come back from the gym, I feel so good. I have so much energy. For one, it helps with your anxiety. It helps with depression. It helps with stress, and stress is a killer. So it produces those endorphins so that it gets you energized. It makes you feel good in your body. It also helps with your relationship improvement. Because you're happy, other people can feel that happiness. And how you interact with others improves because you're doing something for you. You're doing something that you love. And you can love others because you're doing something for you and that you're doing something that you love and that you enjoy. Career advancement. Again, because I talked about changing careers, I talked about starting a business. For that, you definitely can, develop a skill set that is marketable and you will change your career. You can change your life because of your day one. Now, I will leave you with this question. Will you continue to say, one day I will, or one day I can, or will you decide to say, today is my day one? I hope you decide to take your day one. Nothing is stopping you. Nothing. Decide to choose you. So I want you to leave a comment below and tell me or share with me, what was your day one? And it doesn't have to be one thing. It can be several. Please leave your comments below. Now, I hope that you guys have enjoyed episode 7 of You Grow Girl podcast. And I'm your host, Stacey C. Please do not forget to subscribe, share, like, and comment. Make time to see you grow. Thank you.